This episode is brought to you by Merrill. Join one of the most iconic names in wealth management, Merrill. You'll be part of a dynamic team of advisors and specialists working hard every day to grow their clients' wealth. And with the support of best-in-class research, advanced digital tools, and the resources of a global institution, it's truly an opportunity you can be bullish about. Learn more at careers.bankofamerica.com. Copyright 2024, Bank of America Corporation.
This episode is brought to you by Atlassian. Atlassian makes the team collaboration software that powers enterprise businesses around the world, including over 80% of the Fortune 500. With Atlassian's AI-powered software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom, you'll have more time to do the work that matters. In fact, Atlassian customers experience a 25% reduction in project duration per year. Unleash the potential of your team at Atlassian.com. Atlassian.
This is Optimal Work Daily. Help, Start Alone or Build a Team by Matt McWilliams with eofire.com. Navigating the entrepreneurial waters can be overwhelming, especially at first. I recently received an email from a brand new entrepreneur asking a common and important question in the early stages of building a business. If you're a new or aspiring entrepreneur, you've probably found yourself asking the same question, or you'll be asking it soon. The person asked, I'm in this ocean of entrepreneurship dilemmas. I'm just starting my business. I've been told that I need to outsource certain things to offer a full range of services. Should I start out doing it all myself, contract out more complex projects, or hire someone? Here's part of what I wrote in response. Always start out doing it yourself. As long as you don't undercharge or overpromise, you'll be fine. There are 3 huge benefits from doing it this way. 1, you keep all the profits. When you are first starting out, you probably need all the money you can get. I remember when I started my first business in 2003. Soon after I started it, my dad fired me from my full-time job. I offered a narrow range of web design services and had only 1 client at the time. Overnight, what was a fun side project became my sole source of income. I needed more funds, and I needed them fast. Not only could I not afford to hire freelancers before I was actually paid by my clients, I needed all of the money I could get. So initially, I learned how to do everything myself. I expanded my services, picked up a bunch of new clients, and spent half my time learning how to do the things I said I could do for them. Not only did I get to keep all of the profits early on and build my emergency fund up, but I also discovered benefit number 2. 2, you broaden your skill set and learn new things you like to do. The day after my dad fired me, I started reading everything I could about web design. I also started selling my services to a broader range of customers. I went from only offering basic design services for small businesses to doing online fundraising for political campaigns and nonprofits, building elaborate, by 2003 standards, e-commerce sites, and running these shiny new things called weblogs. The typical conversation with the prospective client went like this. Prospect: here's what I'm looking to do. Can you do X, Y, and Z? Me: absolutely. And I hung up, wrote up a proposal, and proceeded to learn how to do Y and Z. With each sales call and each new client, the amount of new stuff I had to learn dwindled. And along the way, I was building my skill set up. I was learning all kinds of new technologies and expanding the possibilities of what I could offer potential clients. I became an expert in online fundraising. In an era when most candidates didn't even have an online presence, and Howard Dean was just beginning to revolutionize the internet in politics, I had local congressional candidates raising tens of thousands of dollars per week online, an enormous amount back then. I learned new skills that I loved using. I found that I loved writing. I discovered what I enjoyed doing and what I hated. Eventually, these discoveries became the basis for what I would choose to outsource and what I would choose to do myself. As I built these skills and grew my client roster significantly, I reached the point where I was simply unable to do everything myself. I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I began to outsource some things. It was then that I found benefit number 3. Number 3, you learn how to communicate with your team. Whether you outsource or hire in-house, it really helps to be able to communicate in the language of your team. I don't mean their native tongue, though that does help. I'm referring to the languages of coding, design, marketing, and the like. When you start off outsourcing or hiring, you learn nothing new. Often you'll find that communicating with your programmers is difficult, or that your marketing people use a bunch of fancy-sounding jargon to talk over your head and hide the truth, but not if you start off doing it all yourself. Because of my background in basic coding, design, and marketing, I was, and still am, able to effectively communicate with programmers, designers, and marketers. I know when they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, and I avoid bad hires. I have rarely made a bad hire in those areas thanks to this. Doing it all yourself is not a permanent solution. If it stays that way for 5 years, you aren't an entrepreneur. You just own your job. You want to build a team, in-house or virtually. You do want to pay others to do the stuff you can't stand to do and focus on what you're best at. But first you need to keep the money for yourself, build your skill set, and learn things that will serve you greatly down the road. You just listened to the post titled, Help, Start Alone or Build a Team? By Matt McWilliams with eofire.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We're all marveled at how quickly kids learn and that sense of wonderment they have while doing it. But as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. Well, if there's something you've been wanting to learn, know that therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder, because your back-to-school era can come at any age. And make no mistake, therapy is for everyone. Whether or not you've been through significant trauma, therapy can be a great tool for setting boundaries, learning new skills, and ultimately becoming the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/workdaily today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/workdaily. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search. Match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree. Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out those incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster, and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. So just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And thank you to Matt, who is actually a guest writer on EO Fire, which, by the way, stands for Entrepreneur on Fire. Matt McWilliams is a well-known marketing consultant who has won numerous awards for affiliate management. He's a featured author in the book Internet Marketing from the Real Experts, and he writes daily on his blog about life, leadership, and love learned the hard way. You can find that blog at mattmcwilliams.com. He's really got an interesting story. He was arrested at the age of 25 and faced up to 42 years in prison. But by the age of 27, he was an executive in a thriving startup. So come by his site, or you can also check out his show, the Affiliate Guy podcast. You should be able to find that wherever you get your audio. And that's going to do it for today. I thank you so much for being here on this Friday edition of the show. Have a great rest of your day and a good start to your weekend, and I'll be back here with you tomorrow. That's where your optimal life awaits.